Everyone has a story in Annapolis. Mine began here. We have more in common than you might think. We want a level playing field, no matter who you are. Safe schools for our kids, and a clean bay for their kids. To know our neighbors, and leaders who actually get it. I'm Aaron Axe. Annapolis is a part of me, and it's a part of you.
Here it is. Look how cheap it is.
Be careful what you buy online.
Counterfeit products are illegal. They are fake and can be damaging to you, your property, and your wallet.
Buy from legitimate sources or buy from brands you trust.
No, get out!
Fakes cause real harm. Real products are tested for safety. Protect yourself.
You're smart, buy smart.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Are you adopted? How much does it cost?
People always ask, where are your real parents? I don't really know, so I can't give an answer.
They'd ask how my parents found me, if they bought me, how much they paid for me.
I only get like one question a week, but I just walk away and say it's none of your business.
Why do you look different than everyone in your family?
I have a different skin color than the rest of my family. There's nothing else to really say about it.
Adopted kids are weird. Are you weird?
Being adopted is really not that easy. You would get a lot of questions that you don't want to answer, but you don't want to say it in a rude way.
I'll make a class.
Adopted kids and families often get a lot of questions.
Are you two adopted?
We never realize the depth and the confusion and the sadness that these questions evoked for our kids.
How much did they pay for you?
Sometimes it isn't questions, sometimes it is sadly comments of a teasing or bullying nature. We needed to do something. We couldn't leave them out there. CASE stands for the Center for Adoption, Support, and Education. My husband and I were considering becoming an adoptive parent, and I had been doing a lot of mental health work for the past, well, now almost 37 years. There was a void, and the void was providing very specialized mental health services to this population of children and families.
Oh no, how do I answer?
At CASE, our therapists are very highly trained family therapists, and we talk about all the different issues that are related to families.
Typical kinds of concerns are around how to talk with their children about adoption, how to share pieces of their children's story that may be difficult to share.
I think it's very important to be very sensitive to our children when they come to us with concerns and to really try to hear them. And when it doesn't make sense to us, to seek out people like CASE to better understand what their lives are like and how we can best provide for their needs.
Adopting an older child adds some challenges. His birth story is completely different, and he had already developed into a person.
My mom died after I was born. My real father, he was drinking, and he's out of control. Then I have a lot of struggle when I was in the orphanage.
That's where CASE steps in and helps us through.
We created this very safe place for parents and children to come together to talk about things that at times are not that easy.
I've done training for CASE since the beginning. To parent groups, community groups, sharing this very simple but powerful tool to help children not feel so caught off guard.
Wise Up is a program that helped adopted children face not so nice people, otherwise known as bullies.
You know, just 4 letters, 4 different options.
The W in Wise Up stands for walk away.
Are you adopted? How about the I?
It's private.
Yes.
The knowing where the borderline is and to say, this is private.
Private?
To saying something like it's a very personal question you're asking is always something you can go back to.
The S is to share something, to actually maybe answer the question in whatever way you feel comfortable.
E for Wise Up stands for educate others.
And more to not educate the person about your own personal self, but about maybe adoption in general.
Not everybody looks like their mom and dad.
Wise Up helped a lot because it helps actually have a structure to think about when people ask me questions, as opposed to just feeling uncomfortable and not knowing what to do.
It kind of helped me know what to say when somebody asks you like one of those questions.
I, as an adopted adult, would have loved to have something like this when I was a kid.
When I was pushing cards, someone asked me if I was Chinese. I said I was Korean, and then I just walked away. I used the S and the W by sharing something and walking away.
I said, oh, what did you learn? And he was like, the other kids are just like me, and they have the same questions as me.
They are definitely taking in the fact that they're not alone.
How come your brother doesn't look like you? And I'm like, because we're both adopted.
Same with me.
It's a really wonderful place where children can very safely speak with other children who are adopted about their experiences, both positive and negative.
It was also really nice being in the training and being with other adoptive parents and sharing the stories and hearing how they've handled it.
You have an instant bond with other adoptive families. You just feel it.
Today, many families have contact with birth family. They often come in around just how to make those relationships work.
I wrote a letter to my birth mother, so then I started learning more about where I came from, why they gave me up, which was a big question I had. So I think just answering the questions helped form my whole identity of who I am now.
I was going through a lot of trouble when I was younger, trying to figure out my identity, like who I was, where I came from. My biological brother was trying to find me. So it was really an amazing time for me to be with CASE, and they've been a really big support with that journey.
We went back to Ethiopia, and it was kind of hard, but it was still really fun.
We're fortunate enough to know their birth family, so we went to see them. Ended up putting our whole family into counseling just to help prepare them.
Because of the uniqueness of what we do and the lack of this specialization across the country, we have families sometimes driving 3-4 hours to come see us. We are the experts, and that's why they keep coming back.
When I see the adopted kids that are just very comfortable with who they are, that's what I want.
Adoption's kind of always going to be with you. It's just part of who you are.
It feels great to have a big family.
I'm in a basketball team right now, and we have a game tomorrow.
I also love singing.
That's my goal, to compete in the Olympics.
There's a special body of knowledge that you need to have to help support adoptive families. I wish CASE could be in every community. Maybe one day.
One great thing about my family is that they love me, and they always will.
Everyone has a story in Annapolis. Mine began here.
We have more in common than you might think. We want a level playing field, no matter who you are. Safe schools for our kids, and a clean bay for their kids. To know our neighbors, and leaders who actually get it. I'm Aaron Axe. Annapolis is a part of me, and it's a part of you.
Here it is. Look how cheap it is.
Looks pretty sketch to me.
Go for it, Steph.
Done. I bet you won't even be able to tell the difference.
Counterfeit products are illegal. They are fake and can be damaging to you, your property, and your wallet.
Hold on. Finally, it's here. About time.
What?
It looks real, but I don't have a good feeling about this.
No, get out! Get out!
Go!
Fakes cause real harm.
You're smart. Buy smart. You're in big trouble.
Real products are tested for safety. Protect yourself.
You're smart. Buy smart.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Hey everyone, my name is Stefan Hoyer, local Annapolis musician, and I just wanted to give a massive thank you to the Anne Arundel Arts Council for their generous contribution through the Grants for the Arts program. Thank you 1,000 times. I'm immensely thankful for your help. This original tune is called Seasons. Hope you enjoy it. Just gonna keep moving, changing with the season.
With the beginning of the pandemic, it did almost seem hopeless for so many people, and we didn't know which way to turn or how to handle this. It was a new situation never seen before in our generation. So I think that as we navigated and got past what will we do, we started looking creatively and partnering and talking to each other more.
This is Darren, and I just wanted to say thank you to the Arts Council for all of the work that you've done for us as artists, for our community, just pulling all the work together for the grants. It has really just helped us all out so much, and we really appreciate your efforts. And April, we appreciate your leadership. And we don't know where we would be without you or your example. So thank you so much for everything you do and all your hard work. It does not go unnoticed. We love you guys so much.
The Arts Council of Anne Arundel County played a pivotal role in making sure that we had a connection to the arts community.
With the emergency fundings we've received from several institutions, the state and the county, we were able to meet some of those needs to help the artists and organizations get through this year.
Having them speak and be the forefront for the artist and being able to fund projects and initiatives in our communities, I think it worked hand in hand. One, we were beautifying our county and our city while also providing resources for artists and members of our community.
So I just want to take this opportunity to give a shout out and say thank you to Anne Arundel Arts Council. I like to keep the lights on and be able to pay the rent, and as a creator, the financial survivalism during this pandemic has thrown off my creative energy, but with their assistance, I'm able to create these wonderful pieces of art, and I wanted to express my gratitude, so thank you.
Hello, my name is Leah Capps, and I'm the current president of the Talent Machine Company, a youth performing arts group. With the grant from the Arts Council of Anne Arundel County, we were still able to produce and present 3 full-length musicals. We used a non-conventional space as our stage, which meant everything had to be imported. The Arts Council grant allowed us the opportunity to rent lighting equipment, sound equipment, and professional cameras. That's in addition to our regular expenses of renting rehearsal space, costume and prop purchases. Each cast member and family felt the effects of your grant, and we truly appreciate your generosity.
Hi, I'm Kim Hovell, and I'm an artist from Annapolis, Maryland, and the Arts Council grant helped me keep my studio up and running this year.
The Arts Council was fortunate to work with the county executive when they received CARES money. They received quite a bit of money that they were able to distribute to many sectors in the county. And we were fortunate to be one of those. They called us and said, you know, could you administer funds for the arts organizations and artists alike? We had never been able to afford to be able to actually fund artists, and so this was a really thrilling opportunity for us. They were able to give us $1 million to fund these groups.
About it, stormy nights, dog room, you know your kisses were hypnotic. Run your fingers through my head, down my back, feel my body. Is this something that I'm craving, or our chemistry narcotic? Running through my mind, chasing visions of my past. Wonder why
I think that gets lost. People think, oh, because artists aren't necessarily, you know, showing up to work, you know, in a building and all that, that they aren't affected the same way.
Crazy, but boys are back in town.
The Arts Council did become a lifeline for many of the artists and organizations. They didn't know where to go, where to get information. You know, what PPP do we need to use? They didn't know these answers, and so we served as their sounding board and answer many questions to begin with. It was a very unusual situation. The pandemic put us all in. We all had to learn to be socially distanced, and many new ways, a new way of life for everyone.
We just wanted to thank the Arts Council of Anne Arundel County for providing us with the grant so that we could keep our doors open and pay our rent after the pandemic. Cheers! Cheers!
Hi, thanks for tuning in to Bad Night In. And thanks to the Arts Council of Anne Arundel County and some good friends, I can continue to entertain audiences with signature renditions of grocery store classics, B-sides, and my own tunes. The Peace and Security has provided me the time and space to build an online sanctuary promoting music and other creative ideas from my artistic family and myself.
Individual groups like the Anne Arundel County Art Council that are actually relating to the artists, understand the struggles and the pains that they're going through, and understand the triumphs that they've had as artists as well, and being able to effectively communicate that to us and to the general public so that we can see what art is really doing for our community.
And so we had to spend this money within 3 months of getting it and create a grant system and questions and a model to live by. So it was quite a task, but it was exciting, and what an opportunity we had. And our grants committee got busy and put it together, and we were able to distribute everything before the end of last calendar year.
You have to pay for art. As much as it contributes to our county and our city, bringing in tourists.
We have been working on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and making sure that we're looking at ourselves inward and outward to make sure that our outreach is genuine and make sure that everyone feels welcome.
And look what it did for, the city at that time. It put us on a global stage,
This
really.
mural of Breonna Taylor will be painted in historically black neighborhood in Annapolis, Maryland. Artists and volunteers will paint the 7,000 square foot mural this weekend. One of the artists said the mural will be painted on a basketball court. The project is in collaboration with the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture and the Banneker Douglas Museum.
It was great for everybody.
We saw so much innovation happening. Their creativity and innovation really sparked something in all of us.
Those murals being featured in Time magazine, the National Convention. We used art a number of times. The George Floyd monument that we had on City Dock, the Breonna Taylor mural that really just went worldwide. That's out in Chambers Park.
Artists pulled out their paintbrushes and began drawing the 7,000 square foot artwork. Jeff Huntington, the founder of Future History Now, says he hopes students will remember this moment.
We want the youth of Annapolis to experience this pivotal moment in history in a creative, positive, and active way.
And I think that helped a lot of people.
So that when there are future leaders 20, 30, and 40 years from now, we want them to be able to look back on their personal experience and know that art is a positive way to uplift and beautify our communities.
Shift their focus away from, a really bad time.
From the bottom of our hearts, Future History Now would like to thank the Arts Council of Anne Arundel County.
Without your generous support, our work here wouldn't be possible.
So much.
Stand up, raise your hands up. Stand up, raise your hands up. Stand up, raise your hands up. Ooh. Women will rise, we led the fight for choice, equal rights, equal pay. With our brothers out of sight, we will never be denied. We'll stand our ground. People will rise, we'll stand together, and a difference won't define our fate. White, brown, or black, we got each other's back, and we won't hate. And people will rise, we rise, and women will rise, we rise. Oh, pride will rise, your sun colors shine a light on the rays of the sun. Like the rainbow above, there's no wrong way to love, and we are proud, and pride will rise, we rise. Oh, people will rise, we rise, yeah.
Stand up, raise your hands up.
Raise your hands up.
Get ready for the fight of your life.
Get ready for the fight of your
Lift your
life.
voice and sing the song. We're 100 million strong and we will rise.
Stand up. People will rise. your hands up.
Stand up.
Hands
Raise your
up.
hands up.
Put your hands up. Stand up.
Stand up. Raise your hands up.
Raise your hands up.
Get ready for the fight of your life.
Get ready for the fight of your
Lift your
life.
voice and sing the song. We're 100 million strong and we will rise.
Stand up. People will rise. We'll rise. We will rise. We'll rise.
What if I say something?
Will there be consequences?
They wouldn't fire me, would they?
Would anything even really change?
Do they even care about my well-being? About my happiness?
About transparency?
About real equality?
Is it even safe to share what I'm actually thinking?
What I'm actually thinking?
What I'm actually thinking.
It is now. We're listening, and so will they. Let your voice join thousands of others and together be the change. It's our promise and your opportunity.
We know that the student debt crisis in America is a significant problem, and we often hear about it from a financial perspective. Will millennials buy houses? Will they buy cars? What I feel is less talked about is the lived experience. How is the stress of paying back your student loans affecting young people on a day-to-day basis?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm here to meet Amberly Miller. Amberly went to a small liberal arts college and graduated with over $90,000 in debt. She now holds down a 9-to-5 at an insurance company and volunteers as a tutor for kids in underserved communities.
No one in my family went to college, but that's something my mom wanted for me. Growing up lower income, we lived in a 2-bedroom house, so my mom slept on the floor of the living room. Seeing her struggle like that, working these jobs that she didn't like, I just wanted to go to school and better myself so that I could help her out.
So your mom ended up also taking out a loan to support you going to school, right?
And the whole agreement for her taking out those loans for me was that I would really be paying them myself. They were just in her name. And I haven't been able to pay them, so I feel extremely guilty for that.
Are you paying your loans right now?
As of today, no. I just claimed forbearance again this month, and so they come out of forbearance in August, and I'll start paying them again.
How about your mom? Is she paying the Parent Plus?
She is not paying hers yet either, and that's something I'm really concerned about because her condo went under foreclosure, and I don't want to add any more stress to her. She can't really be under any stress or else her health problems get worse. So just thinking about it makes me really upset. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, it's all right. With the rising cost of education and the debt that comes along with it, new studies suggest that student debt may come with unexpected consequences.
So we used data from the National Longitudinal Study of Youth. I looked at their total amount of student loans that they borrowed during their college education, and then I looked at their mental health. And we found that as students took out more loans, they reported poor mental health. So on average, I think college education is associated with all these good things, but for some people, that debt is just too much to bear. There's a stressor that they're experiencing and that it can impact their mental health.
Several years ago, while driving around Los Angeles in a state of equal parts fury and despair, I called my cousin to tell her how sick of all of it I was, that I was tired and I couldn't take it anymore. Then I turned off the phone. I needed silence. When I turned it on again a few hours later, I was greeted with frantic voicemail messages, including a good number from my mother. She was terrified of what I might have done. I had no intention of killing myself, I said. I would never do that to you because you'd still be on the hook for those loans. Yeah.
Michael is a freelance writer for many different publications. His first book just made the New York Times bestsellers list, and if you were to judge by his social media, he's doing pretty well for himself. But with nearly $100,000 in student loans, Michael's personal life tells a different story.
My opponent tonight is writer Michael Arsenault.
I was on the opposition on Comedy Central. It was my first national TV appearance to promote my book. It wasn't a good feeling to be doing something like that. In the back of my mind, I'm negative $400 or $500. My friend was like, oh my God, you're so famous. I'm so proud of you. You're becoming famous, whatever. The girl, I'm not famous, and also I'm in car service and I don't know how to eat after this. I felt very defeated. I felt like I'm in my 30s. In theory, I have a book coming out, I'm on TV, I'm getting paid speaking gigs. Like, this is how you are supposed to get to the next level to make real money to pay this off.
Yeah.
It was a really bad time. Like, I don't think you could tell on the TV, but I had to not let people know, because it's a comedy show, that I was kind of miserable inside.
What was the process like of taking out loans? Like, were you aware of what was going on, or?
I just remember I needed to get more money, and I didn't really understand the distinction between a private loan versus a government loan. The problem with the private lenders is it's pay me my money. That's just kind of it. There's really no options. Give me my money. You only get 2 deferments. I got like 2 each for 6 months, and then after that, you literally just have to pay the money.
That's it.
Or you default and they ruin your lives. So there's literally no out in terms of the debt, and that does weigh a lot on me.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, will you share your
It's a humiliating feeling overall to constantly worry about the debt.
How often is this on your mind?
I've thought about my student loan debts every day since I graduated in 2007.
I was just feeling extremely overwhelmed and stressed out, and I realized I just couldn't sleep. And I'd also wake up in the morning with this terrible anxiety. So I finally went to a doctor. So she diagnosed me with insomnia and anxiety. So she gave me medication for both. And this is Klonopins. They do take away my anxiety. They can make me feel a little bit forgetful.
We know that people who are anxious and worried end up having worse sleep than people who don't. And so we also know that sleep matters a lot for physical health. It has impacts on things like obesity and cardiovascular health and other types of physical health outcomes. For those students who have taken out a lot of loans or whose loans feel very burdensome, we need to think about what the potential health implications might be for those students.
I was breaking out in rashes everywhere. I had really bad migraines, which is not a thing for me, and physically, like, oddly very weak, very anxious, couldn't hold a lot of stuff down. Was going to doctors a lot and trying to figure things out. A lot of blood work, a lot of odd conversations, and it turned out that finally some other doctors was like, I think you're actually just stressed out.
Yeah.
And so then I had to kind of learn how to deal with it in a different way. It impacts my choices every day. Like, professionally, I actually did not want to be a freelance writer, but if you don't pay me enough to cover my loans, I have to keep freelancing.
I've worked since I was 16. I've always had a job. I've worked 2 jobs while I was in college.
I wish I had known better. I wish someone had told me how this worked. I basically took out a payday loan to go to college.
You think you go to college, you're gonna get a good job, it would be easy to pay off.
There are periods where I am able to pay it. I just don't sleep a lot. I go without certain things. Right now I'm just kind of numb.
There's this huge burden that's going to be with you for the rest of your life.
Will yours be with you for the rest of your life?
Oh, guaranteed.
At a certain point, talking about student debt and the pressure that it's putting on people, you start to wonder, is there anyone who's trying to do something about this in a concrete way? So I'm here in Boston to talk to one of the founders of Gratify. Gratify is a startup company that aims to help employers make contributions to pay down their employees' student debt.
Gratify is an employee benefits company that allows employers to make direct contributions to pay down the student loan debt of their employees. We work with employers to design contribution programs. A simple example is, $100 a month for up to 5 or 6 years. At its face, it doesn't seem like it's much, but small things do add up. And these extra contributions really make a difference. It can cut the overall cost of your student loans by 20, 25% and get you out of debt several years sooner than you would have been otherwise. We can't solve the entire student loan debt problem ourselves, but we can set an example for other companies to take a positive kind of approach to figure out ways to disrupt this big societal issue.
The generation who's suffering from this debt has to mobilize and has to make their voices heard. We as a society need to start thinking about those different solutions and what kind of package we can put together to make it more affordable for the next generation.
I am volunteering with students who hopefully will be going to college. I want to encourage them to go to school, but just be conscious of the cost of it.
I still have a lot of stress about it and anxiety, but I don't let it consume me the same way that I used to. Because I'm actually not a sad person, despite having a lot of sad shit to deal with.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sowed. Hey, hey. Well, let me tell you something, all that glitters ain't gold.
Hey, I've got a story, and it's hurting me so bad. It's creepy stuff, you couldn't make it up, and now I'm raging mad.
You gotta tell your story, and I'll be your friend. You'll be admired and he'll get fired so he can't do it again.
Hey girl, you're not alone, millions feel your pain, so have you say you'll be okay, and you are not to blame. Oh, oh, oh.
Hey sisters, rise up and take your power. Have no fear, your sister's here, it'll be our finest hour.
Brothers, tell your sisters, we've got work to do. So cut the crap, we're better than that, and we'll stand up for you.
The badger will deny it, he'll say it's just a lie. He'll say your story's fake, give me a break, it's time for him to cry.
Broco keeps us quiet, we laugh when we should frown. So take a stand and be a man, hey dude, just shut him down. Oh, ooh.
Hey sisters, rise up and take your power. Have no fear, your sister's here, it'll be our finest hour.
Brothers, tell your sisters, we got work to do. So cut the crap, we're better than that, we'll stand up for you.
Start by believing what we say is true. If you take away my dignity, I'll tell the whole world on you. Start by believing what we say is true. If you take away my dignity, I'll tell the whole world on you.
Oh yeah.
Hey sisters, rise up and take your power. Have no fear, your sister's here, it'll be our finest hour. Hey brothers, tell your sisters, we've got work to do. So cut the crap, we're better than that, and we'll stand up for you.
Great job, ladies. Great job.